Okay, what's going on, guys? Today our project is going to be to replace and install a new radiator, and this is a fourth generation Volkswagen Golf. Common problem with these vehicles is that the corners of the radiator will start to corrode, rust, and then leak. So as a preventative measure, we're going to be installing a new radiator. This one's not leaking yet, but it's starting to get rusty in the corners of the rad. So here's the new rad. The corners, it'll start to corrode down here and around here and leak. So here's the new replacement rad that we're going to be installing. It's a bit of a process. We're going to have to be removing the front bumper, the headlights, just to get at the rad and take it out. So we'll show you how to do all that. Thing you're going to want to do is pop off the hubcaps, and to do that you just pull directly straight off. Make sure that you don't crack the plastic or anything. Just pull them straight off, and then we can jack up the car and pull the wheels off. So in order to jack up the vehicle, we're using the front frame rail there to jack as a jacking point, and then we're going to be putting it on this is a reinforced part of the pinch weld here, and this is where you're supposed to be putting the weight of the car on. So we're putting the jack directly underneath that. Just enough so the wheels are just off the ground. The next step is to pull off both front wheels using a 17mm socket. The next thing we're going to do is use a T25 torx head to pull off these 4 fasteners on the inner fender wells. And that way we'll be able to pull those fender wells back to get the bumper off. Alright, it's always a good idea to disconnect the negative terminal on the battery before we do any work, just in case there's any electrical that we have to deal with. The next thing we're going to be doing is pulling off this underneath the engine splash shield here, and there's 4 T25 screws, and then once those are off it should be able to just pull it back and it'll come off. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is take off this driver's side splash shield in order to access the drain plug for the radiator. There's 2 clips. There's one up here, and then there's another one just forward of it, and then there's a T25 that was at the back of it. And then once those 3 are off, it should be able to just pop right off, and then we can drain the radiator. Alright, so here's the drain plug for the radiator. It's right here. All I have to do is get our bucket underneath and then turn this. That should be able to drain. There we go. And we'll let that drain out. You have to pull the cap off for the fill on the radiator in order to get it to drain out the bottom. Okay, once the rad is done draining, we can turn the drain plug back tight, and then take the quick disconnect on the bottom driver's side of the radiator, pop that metal clip up, and then pull the hose right off. As you can see, the clip has been popped up now, and then we can pull the hose directly back. Alright, next thing we're going to do is take off these 2 small covers held on by 4 Phillips head screws.
That one's corroded.
That those 2 covers are off, we can remove this clamp and then pull off the hose from the radiator. Ta-da! Next step is we're going to be removing the bowden cable from the hood latch, and to get to that, I'm just going to come back here, focus on that, and that wire should come right out of there. Okay, we got the ball out there, and then next we just got to pull back on the actual cable itself, get it out of the housing. There we go. Next step is we're going to be removing this front grill part, and the way it came off was there was 4 just clip fasteners. You just pull straight back on each corner. Pull straight back, and then there was some clips at the bottom where you just pull it up a little bit, and then here for the hood latch pull you have to just take a small flathead screwdriver and pop that up to disconnect that so we can pull out this front grill part. Okay, the front grill part is off now. And now we're going to be removing these front bumper little inserts. You just push down on the top and then pull them out. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6 fasteners that we just took off, and now we're going to try and pull the front bumper off. Okay, here's the front bumper coming off, and when you pull it off, just pull straight forward, and don't pull it too hard because you have to pull the front marker lights out, and to take those out you just pull straight backwards on each of them and then the light will come out. Just like that. And just pull straight back on that piece of foam to get it off, and that was located just on this black piece right there. The thing we're doing is pulling out both headlights. 1, 2, 3, and 4 fasteners. And we can go ahead and pull out the light and disconnect the harness. If you pull the light out, you got to undo the harness on the back, and then that will come right out. The next thing we're going to do is try and pull off this big metal center piece here that was behind the bumper. Okay, so this front metal bumper piece is off now. Here's what the car looks like. And we almost have access to the rad now. Okay, now we're able to remove the 8T30 torx fasteners that are holding on the radiator off. So we're going to take those off next.
4 each side, 2 here, 2 here.
4 on each side. Okay, next we're going to be removing this lower rad hose from the lower clip here. Next we're going to take a T30 and undo the bracket where the AC line comes in. So this fastener right there. Alright, the next step is we're going to have to remove a couple wiring harnesses here. And we're going to remove this one, and this one. And then we'll be able to pull out the front part there. Okay, so this top clip was a little bit annoying to get off. There's another clip just like it on top, but the way that you're supposed to get it off is, as you can see, we broke it completely. But you're supposed to get in and then pull the tab a certain way, and then that allows you to pull it out. So I'll just show you on this next clip that we have to take out. This is on the top side of the engine. So what you do is you can take a little picky tool like this.
Do it with your finger. But...
Show me the picky tool. Just like that. And then you get your picky tool in the clip there. And then pull up on the lever.
Do it again. Stick it in there.
In there, and then pull up on that lever, and then you can pull straight out instead of breaking the connector. We can remove these 2 T30 fasteners on each side. We removed that whole front metal piece there, and here's what we're left with. Finally, access to the rad at the front. Okay, we have access to the rad now, and we can just pull that straight up, and it should come out nicely. It's just stuck down here a little bit. There. Well, that's that. That's the old rad. So here's just a quick look at the bottom of the rad. And as you can see, even though this one wasn't leaking yet, this is what can happen. This will get all corroded here, and where the plastic meets the metal there, that's where it'll start leaking. So we've got a brand new rad to replace this one. Here's the part number on the new rad. It's a bare cool metal cooler. Next step we're going to do is just transfer over everything from the old rad to the new rad. So there's these mounts on the side, there's 4 of them. And then the electric fans on the back. They're just mounted on, so it looks like this whole shroud with 4 T30s or T25s on the back. So we're just going to take everything, put it on the new rad, and then we can reassemble. So here's the sensor out of the old rad. And what we're going to do is put some PTFE sealant on there, and then install it in the new rad. Alright, so if you have a vehicle that's exposed to the salt and sand and crappiness of the Great White North, then you might have an issue of getting some fasteners off. Here you can see the head broke right off of this one. All the other ones came out okay, but we went and got all new fasteners for the fan shroud. And here's what we used. So now that we've got all the stuff transferred over to the new radiator, we can reassemble and do everything that we just did in reverse order, starting with that thing, that big metal piece. Alright, so we're putting the radiator in back on now. The 8 bolts that we took out, we're mounting back up. Do back up those 3 electrical connections on the bottom, and do back up the upper rad hose on the top of the rad, as well as this electrical connection that we took off. Now we can reconnect the AC line there, that T30 screw, as well as the lower rad hose and associated clip. So we've remounted this front metal piece here. Alright, we got the foam piece back on. Alright, since we're down here, we can reconnect this lower shroud. Now we can put back in both headlights. Don't forget to connect the connectors on the back. There's 4 fasteners per headlight. Alright, we've got the front bumper back on now. And we'll just put all the fasteners back on. And then we can start to button everything up. Now we can put the wheel well shroud fasteners back on both sides. You can go ahead and throw these upper 2 mini shrouds on, and then the lower engine shroud. Fill up the radiator and then check for leaks. Okay, so we just ran it for about 5 minutes. Checked for leaks. Made sure that the coolant level was at a good spot. And I guess that just about completes this job. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.